Yo, what is going on, everybody? Hope you're well. Today we have a replay analysis of a great guy, actually. So, well, first of all, I don't even know where to start. So much has happened in the last 48 hours, but the Rocket League guide went for sale on Amazon, and you guys, the Rocket League community, have pushed it to the #1 new release slotting strategy guide. To put that into perspective and understanding, we actually beat Elden Ring for a new release in the first 48 hours. I think that just really goes to show the power of the Rocket League community. You know, one thing is probably the most passionate set of gamers, and I think that's why, you know, when we lose, you feel the pain. When you win, you feel the joy. So, really want to thank everyone who looked at it, was interested in it, and of course went ahead and did purchase it. I can't believe it. You know, to me, I think it's such an amazing story of what this community can achieve. You know, I'd love to see this covered somewhere else. You know, how the community managed to pull this off. I've reached out to other, you know, big YouTubers like Sunless Khan and Waiton. Unfortunately, I can't really get hold of Sunless Khan. He's a little bit gatekept. But yeah, guys, just again, you know, I know I keep banging on about it in the last couple of days, but it's just, I just can't believe it. I'm a bit shocked myself, to be honest. So yeah, thank you. Now, speaking of the book, you know, supporters, we got a replay analysis here of a guy called Buffalumps, been a support for many, many years, helped me a lot. He's suggested great books. He's really helped me a lot. And he's actually in the special thanks page in the book. Now, that page in the book, let me just turn this down, has we've got a special thanks section and a heartfelt thanks section. I actually wanted to put him and a few others. There was another 3 people I wanted to fit in, but I couldn't. So I had to whittle it down by basically the first date of interaction. So there was other guys off the top of my head, we like Vance, Panzer Vance. But yeah, so those guys, like I said, you know, in the book, you know, I've had so much help from so many people that I can't name them all individually, but Buffalumps is one of them. So I do thank you for your support. And today we're going to go through this replay analysis. So these guys are Grand Champ. They've almost been Grand Champ 2. They've been playing together for a while, and they want to sort of see what you could do with the Pacifist System as you go up the ranks. So obviously, myself and Preceps are playing with this. When we actually have time to play together, we have hit GC3 Division 3, I feel like 4 or 5 seasons in a row. We haven't this season. We just haven't had time to play together this season, to be honest. But even so, I want to sort of show you some of the strategies. So we're going to actually run this while I talk a little bit from my POV. So if you're sort of curious of how you could use pacifist movement in, you know, GC3, SSL and stuff like that, you can watch this now. Then what we'll be doing is in the replay analysis section, the pacifist pivot, we will be going over Buffalumps and I mean, I don't know if they mind me calling them their real name, but Buffalumps and Freestyler, 24/7 Freestyler, their gameplay and how they can actually start to incorporate the pacifist system to push beyond Grand Champ and into GC2. So yeah, just want to say again, you know, thank you so much for the support. If anyone does have contact for some of these guys, you know, I'd love to reach out and send them a free copy of the book to do a review, but it's getting hold of people. I try to reach out to Fear. I think I've been ghosted there. So it's actually really hard to get hold of people to talk about. But I think it's a great achievement. There we go, the pacifist trailer, baby. So we're using all the pacifist moves here. This is why I love this system, okay? Obviously, people who know. People who have done the system, or maybe they've watched the stuff with Chad and Brandon. We haven't covered that yet. People who have the book, and you now know about trailer. You now know about pivot. You know, once you practice the same moves over and over, you can just, they're repeatable. You know, we just did 2 of the biggest pacifist plays back to back for goals. You know, and we do this in GC3. Ask Preceps, I'm not making up. We do this. We've done this, and we've played, you know, in SSL, and we've done it in SSL as well. So, does it work in the higher ranks? Absolutely, it does. I'm not going to mention names, but if you were on the email chain, you would have got an email that showed an SSL reaching out to me and saying that it was thanks to the fundamentals and playing defensive that they managed to get to SSL So yes, it does work. I know there are still doubters, but I think we've proved now that the doubt is just diminishing now. And I really do feel that this could be, one of the big systems. It's the first system as far as I'm aware of in Rocket League, but I think it could be one of the big systems. And I really hope it sort of starts, forcing other coaches to broaden their horizons a little bit. I'd love to see some counter systems with stats, and I'd love to see that. So yeah, here we go. So yeah, we're playing here. We're trying to always look to not attack attackers. Okay, so you can see there, Preceps not attacking Freestyler because he's got the ball. We're trying to not attack attackers, and then we're trying to, once we get possession, we're trying to make them attack us because it's so easy to get outplays. Ideally, we were looking for map space where we can, and of course, like there I did attack an attacker, but again, this is why it's so important to get good at just doing the basics and not ball chasing everything. I saw a gap, so I took it, and you can absolutely do that. And now look at the boost levels between myself and Preceps and Buffalumps and Freestyler. It's the whole point of the system is to keep playing defensive and boost starving the opponent to get this map space. When you get map space, you can start to create, and that's what it's all about. When you get possession, you can start finding your spots. You can take the ball into spots that you're familiar with and you're comfortable with, and you can then basically have a repeatable offense. Case in point, if you keep attacking a ball or keep shooting from wherever the ball is, the ball could land in so many different areas. But if my goal is to get possession, I can take the ball from anywhere on the map, and then I could dribble it and move it into an area that I can score from. So I could move it to my own corners and start my lateral sequence. Do you see what I mean? So it's repeatable. So I can, and if they're close like that, I can take a 50. And then I can try and look for I don't know how I didn't get that demo, but I could look for a demo and stuff like that. So when you repeat the same thing over and over, you start to become very good at it. And you can start to, score goals in that manner and stuff like that. So this is 1 out of 4 games we played. It was actually the first game, but I thought I'd just cover it because, again, it's, we obviously, most of us, we don't get a lot of chance to play. That was the whole point of the system. But here we can see that even when we don't have a lot of chance to play and we're not particularly warm, the actual positioning and the decision making will stay with you. I think Raid said it best many years ago. If you're a mechanical player and you're having a bad mechanical day, you're a bad player because you have only your mechanics. If you're a positional based player that's having a bad mechanical day, you're still a useful player because you understand positioning. And positioning doesn't require, it doesn't require me mechanics to drive into certain positions. So really important to note that. And you can see here we're using a lot of early or late there. I was going for late and then the shot was off. So we go early, and there again, we play for possession, use a lateral dribble into an outside fake to pull in a 50, that we can do a fadeaway 50 and get the open net. Again, it's all repeatable stuff, absolutely repeatable. So yeah, I can't say enough, guys, but thank you everyone for the support on this channel. I really do appreciate the support on the book. I still cannot believe we have beaten Elden Ring. I know it's not going to be, a permanent thing, and it is just because we had the hype from the release, but I still think that a game that's 12 years old, with a pretty much an unknown person, and we managed to together collectively beat Elden Ring is just unreal. So let's get into the game and let's have a look at what we can do here to go from Grand Champ or High Champ 3 in this case into Grand Champ 1 and into Grand Champ 2. So, of course, I think we were chatting a little bit here, but yeah, always follow up the kickoff. Always, always, always. Someone commented the other day saying, I've tried it, but it doesn't work. And then we said, hey, maybe you're just being a bit too crazy. And now all of a sudden they said, oh, well, it worked. I won 4 games in a row. So I'm sure that was pretty good. The idea is once you hit the ball, or once your teammate hits the ball on a kickoff, as a second man, that's when you're going through this boost pad. And then you're basically looking. If it goes there, you grab it. If it goes there. So it goes there, Precept goes to grab it, or as it bounces weirdly, he has to block it. One thing a lot of people will do in these positions when the ball's high is they'll actually turn away or go underneath it and fake it. You can't do that because their second man will just shoot on net. So you basically have to try and hit it back to the wall. And it's one of the few situations you want to really do this. Well, let's look at it from my Buffalumps perspective. So one of the things you'll find is even though these guys are absolutely fantastic players, grand champ, almost grand champ too in their own rights, you'll find that it doesn't matter if you own the ball. You have so much ways to manipulate that ball around them. For example, I could fake this, I could jab it forward, I could cut inside, I could flick it, there's so many things I can do that the defender is at the mercy of me, right? And if he had the ball, I would be at the mercy of him. And it's really important to know this, because once you understand that, you can stop trying to attack someone who owns the ball and you can start trying to trap them. And that's really the key in this game. You have to try and put people into traps and into areas where their success percent drops and yours raises. Now, is it better to own the ball? Of course it's better to own the ball. All right, if you have the possession, you're at a bigger percent chance of success. But if you don't own the possession, and you can't own the possession all the time, you have to go and sort of funnel. So here, this is too aggressive because our momentum is going against the play. We're going against the grain. The example of this would be, let's say Buffalumps hits this ball. He's probably going to stick to the wall and the ball's going to bounce away. So it's a free possession for my teammate. If he hits it harder, it's a free possession for my teammate. Go back and watch your replays and look at how many times you're diving on the ball and you're like, I won the 50. Now, don't lie to yourself. Ask yourself a better question. Did you honestly win that 50? Because if I hit this ball and I win the 50, I just pass it to his teammate. So I don't win the 50. I don't want you guys to look at the game, especially in twos, as did I win the 50? Oh, just smacked my mic. Did I win the 50? I want you to look at it as, did we win the 50? And the answer is usually no. So you've got a funnel there, ideally. So now we've got a second man, and the second man does the same. Now, diving in, it's just so easy to outplay players. You can see these guys almost GC2, and it's very easy for me with I'm not particularly good mechanically to get around them just because their path is set. That's the thing. They have got a set path, and I don't have to score goals. I can put the ball around the net here, and it's actually one of my favorite things to do because it sets up the easiest way to get the pacifist pivot. So, the play that we've been talking about the longest time, I think the pacifist pivot we brought in about 3 years ago, and trailer we brought in about a year and a half ago. So the pivot is, because we know where our teammate is, they're usually around this section facing forward. Okay, because we know that, we can move this ball from the corner into them, and they can go for a jab and attack, or a shot, usually a jab or an edge or whatever, because they've got space. Now, a lot of the ways people set it up is they come here and they come around, but one of the ways I like to set it up is to go across the face of the net, because one, usually you get space when they dive, but two, the momentum is moving perfectly for this pivot. So first thing that Buffalumps, it's so hard to say their names, and 24 Freestyler need to do is stop diving on the board. Everything should be based on trapping, and moving with the ball. So waiting here as second man and just side flipping it to safety, and we'll see more of that as we go. So now the problem with this is, look at their boost levels compared to ours. Mission accomplished. Me and Preceps have 100 boost, and only one of them has 100. So we're playing 200 versus 100. We have double the chance of success here. Okay, now the ball comes down, and this is what I love to do. You could wait here and take it down. The problem with that is they'll often bump you. So what I like to do sometimes, if I'm thinking about a pivot, if it's gone high like this, is to fake this hit here, and you can watch it from Buffalumps' perspective here. You see that? The hit fake is going to freeze them on spot, and it's going to make them turn away. And one of the biggest tips I could give you guys in this game is knowing, like, when you're in such a strong position, you don't have to hit the ball. Like, I'm in such a strong position here, I don't have to hit the ball. I can let the ball mature a little bit and work for me. So here, I show that I'm going to hit it, and I don't hit it, and now we have the pacifist pivot, the premier move. Okay, and it works exactly what we expect. People say, well, would that work in SSL? Yeah, because you just go off the ceiling and you do your Zen stuff. All right, it works. It works. So what can we do? Well, in this situation here, it's really difficult because the play broke down once the dives happened. And this is often what happens. When you start diving into attackers, it is just a ticking time bomb if people know how to finish. Now, often what will happen in these situations where Buffalump comes back to me here, a most average player will just continue to push this ball. Honestly, ask yourself, how many players would just now try and attack again? You guys constantly, not necessarily you two, but I mean, generally players constantly will keep returning and re-pushing this ball. Why would I keep putting the ball in the corner? And I'm screwed. And then you think, well, you should rotate here. Think of a standard player. They'd say, well, rotate here, and my teammate can come in. My teammate can come in and do what? Put it back into the corner, create no angle. It doesn't make any sense. A lot of players are pushing the ball into low percentage positions for free. You know, you don't even have to put the effort into defend, because a lot of people are doing it. What we need to get people to be aware of now is that you need to actually get this ball into the middle to create most of the time. You can absolutely do wraparound demos, but with this much momentum on the ball, not very much, I wouldn't even bother. So that's the way to play this. So it is a ticking time bomb here. What player one here, first man, has to do is know that there's no way possible to reach this and actually go onto the backboard prematurely here. So instead of pushing out, already be on the backboard, and then you drive across and hit that. Okay, so first man is actually the person who plays the backboard in the Pacifist system. Obviously, they try and stay on the ball, but we can't here, so there's no point. And in this situation, what you would do, this is what we call the common situation. It's literally called the common situation in the book, is the second player would actually try and push into this. The reason is, you could challenge that and potentially dunk, but what I like to do usually is go for the demo. Go for the demo or bump. And this way, the first man who's here can jump down and have a free ball, play it to safety. But if they get over the top, as a first man, you should be able to make the save there. So that's one thing you could do right now to change that. It's a great shot. So kickoff, let's see if they're following up the kickoff here. They're not. Okay, so we're going to have an advantage straight away here because me and Preceps are going to follow up the kickoff. We're also trying to kill this ball, and this is something you need to be looking to do at the higher ranks. Okay, obviously I suck at kickoff, so I don't do it very well. But the idea is you jump early, get above or at the middle of the ball in height and central, and it'll just kill the ball. This way your teammate can have confidence to, as the hit comes in, notice how he goes across that pad. It's a perfect follow-up on the kickoff. The difference being, because 24 Freestyler kicked out, they've now got a burn boost to get to the position. Let's reverse this situation a little bit and think about general play. I tell players to build up the middle as second man, and that's exactly the reason why. If you're building up the middle, you can go and react to wherever the ball goes. You're exiling one basket. But here, by kicking out, it's the same as me following up. And if that ball now goes to the left, I've got to burn all my boost to get to it. That's exactly what happens here. So the difference is that we are, as a team, closer to this ball, which means we can posture for position. The Preceps here postures and basically says, we own this ball, we're closer, look at this. And it forces 24 Freestyler to back off. Again, this should be up the backboard straight away because the ball's high. So generally when the ball's high, even though he could shoot low, we still want to match where we can. So I'd get to about here. And then what I would do is I would jump down and I would save it across here like that, ideally. Probably not, because I'm not very good. But that's what you would look to do, all right? You generally want to match the height of the board. It's going to be easier. Let's have a look at this from Buffalumps' perspective. Yeah, great kickoff. You know, a little bit higher again. Like myself, get a little bit higher. Yep, that's fine. Good job not going for the squishy save there. Okay, so look at the difference if we go back to that first play. Boom. Okay, they touch the ball. And then instantly, this is where the challenge came in last time. We're not going to challenge. We're not going to challenge. We're going to force this ball into spots. Boom. We're not going to challenge again. What have I just done by not challenging an attacker? This is what the big thing, the majority of the community, and I would say actually, aside from people who understand this system, it's everyone does this. Everyone. So, apart from high-level pros and SSLs. So, we've got in here, okay, they've got 29 boost. We haven't attacked the ball because I'm just going to hit it away from myself, which makes no sense. So I don't attack the ball. I then pull this player and I take this boost and I take this boost and I try and take that boost. Okay, it was a great bump. But if I was successful, I've pulled them into our area with 0 boost. What 24 Freestyler here is doing is just attacking and hoping that I make a mistake, and it does pay off. But if I don't make a mistake, or I don't get tripped in that situation, you know, which let's say this happens 20% of the time. So the other 80% of the time, they're going to be left with 0 boost in our half. We're going to be able to counterattack. And you can see here, again, a little bit of an advanced technique is to defend him from behind, which is just, yeah, it's just such a good technique. And it's great, again, good boost grab. And this is great from Preceps here. So as the second man, you know, because we've played this again, as you get more advanced, you're going to be able to read things early. He knows I'm low on boost. He knows I'm not going to be able to get back to this. So he's already attacking, and it's absolutely fine for him to do that. So let's go back to this. So great positioning, absolutely brilliant positioning in the second man here. Really like this. Don't necessarily mind this, okay, as far as second man can be kind of aggressive, but could we have done something better? This is what will happen. When players feel boost starved and they're struggling to make things happen, they'll flip and dodge and be super aggressive. This is one of those centers that hits the ball away from yourself. So in this situation, although it's a good follow-up, what we've managed to do here is we've managed to essentially force an overcommit from the second man, because they're forcing this through, okay? And this is forced Rocket League. If instead Buffalumps single jumped into that, then landed and wave dashed across here, they could be up and shooting that straight away as first man. That means that this 50, if it happened, or it would probably be a goal, would be first man against the last man. I don't know what page it is in the book. It might be like page 10, page 12. If you look at the fundamental rules, this will be on there, okay? Anytime you're first man versus second, take that 50-50 where you can. Again, it's a lot of things people miss out on the Pacifist System, because I tend not to do too much when I'm playing in these series, but you would be aggressive as first versus second. And by doing this kind of rotation, we have second versus second. So we're not really at a massive advantage, unfortunately. So yeah, make sure when you're looking to create a second man, if we can use more jabs. You want to think of dodging. Dodging can make up distance. Dodging can be used to, like, you know, funnel the ball and stuff, but dodging should be looking for a reason to dodge. I have a little saying I often say, lower ranked players tend to dodge to fix situations that they've done badly due to their positioning, and higher ranked players tend to dodge to enhance a good situation. Not saying that Buffalumps is a bad player at all, but you'll see here this is very forced. It's not a bad shout. If he got the clip he wanted, it is going to be a goal. But I can tell as a player here, the way he's coming across, I can tell there's no way of hitting that in. The only player I would probably trust to hit that consistently in the whole world would be Moxie, and I still don't think that would be a consistent hit there, because they're moving across the face of the ball too quickly side to side. So a little bit aggressive here, and then here again is where this is going to start to come back to bite you. We've managed to get a first versus first challenge here. It's an overcommit. And, you know, again, I own this ball now, and we've dove in trying to hope that something happens. What I want you guys to start considering when you're playing Rocket League is that when I'm defending, or when we're defending, or when you are defending, this whole area here, this whole area, okay, if you know how to use it, is on your team. I can hit you, I can force you to hit the ball against the backboard, and instead of diving and panicking, I can, you know, pick it up here or something like that. So when you're challenging someone this close, let's say Buffalumps does hit the ball, it's going to hit the backboard and spill forward anyway, which means Preceps gets the open net. So you've got to make sure, just because you're close to the net does not mean you actually have a good chance of scoring. You could argue you've got a better chance of scoring from your own corner, because you're going to have map space. Now that's not true if the player's shadowing and defending you through 99% of the map. But in the majority of the games, and especially Grand Champ 2 and Grand Champ 2K and below, everyone will just challenge that ball mostly. So you can get away with absolutely not having to deal with that. And here's an example. We don't have to deal with 99% of the map being defended. We're not going to get defended through about 40% of this map, maybe 45% of the map. We haven't been defended, me and Preceps, which means we can set up our counterattacks, which is what the idea of the system is to get our defense into offense. So from the perspective, first of all, that movement, that's positioning, was absolutely fantastic as second man there, Buffalumps. But this was a little bit too aggressive. And this was a little bit too aggressive. And by the way, guys, we've gone over some of these replays. Myself, Buffalumps, and Freestyler with Preceps as well. And, you know, these guys were saying, you know, we were being way more aggressive than normal, you know. So they're much normally more calm on this. But I actually think it's a great testament to these guys' humility. So even though they know they made some mistakes, they were like, yeah, put it on YouTube. Because if people can learn, we're happy to. And I really appreciate that. So, yeah, trying to get back down the middle. So let's have a look at the second man here. It's going to be really difficult for the second man. So second man comes in. Brilliant idea on the fake. What makes this so good is they do what's known as hybrid second. So this will happen to you guys a lot. If you're playing solo queue and you're trying to implement this system, you will have a teammate often overcommit and you'll be left on your own. It's one of the biggest things people say, I'm often left on my own as last man, what can I do? The trick is to go into what's known as a hybrid second man. So here, if I'm second man, like a proper second man, I'm probably already moving away here because my first man would be blocking this and I'd be like a far shadow. But in this situation here, in a hybrid second man, I don't have that luxury. So what I need to do is I often want to be fairly nearby, but not too nearby. And I will often kick out. Like I say, it's basically, imagine you're facing forward, 2 cars facing forward, okay? And then you'd be here. So you'd be around, anywhere around this area. So this is a little bit wide. The problem with going this wide is that it sets up a very quick counter. And what that means is, not to get massively in depth, but with an outside shadow, if I take a swing at the net, okay, what will happen is we know this guy's going to take a hit on this because he's an outside shadow player. Well, what that does is, because of the swing here, Preceps can already start moving into position, often on the walls. You're like, this will happen to a lot of you guys when you're trying to get out of defense. And as this ball gets saved, Preceps will just be able to come and dunk that ball, and it'll go straight into the net, and there's no defender because the second man's still on their way back. So that's why an outside shadow can be dangerous, because you're going to have more momentum into the hit, which is going to hit it away. Not always, but generally. With an inside shadow, again, there's no, you know, you are in a difficult situation, but usually because of the way the ball's coming in and you're attacking sort of like that, it tends not to fly away from you, so you tend to stay a lot closer, which means you don't get dunked. Usually when you save the ball with an inside position, it goes onto the backboard. When you do it with an outside position, it goes round the backboard. That little bit of difference, again, creates separation of space from the ball, which causes goal scoring opportunities. Again, not to go too far with that. So this was great. It was a really good idea. This is, again, a pacifist play called trailer. So it's where we shoot the ball into the middle, because again, I know exactly where my teammate is because we're following rules, and I go for the demo. It's one of my, to be honest, me and Preceps use this all the time in GC3, and it just melts the offense. One of our favorite plays. And again, people say, well, why aren't you SSL? Ask Preceps this. I'm not making it up. You know, I think people think I'm making stuff up. We could easily get SSL. We just don't have a lot of time to play. We're sort of averaging like 200 games a season. If we had the ability, you know, I see people saying, why doesn't it work? And they're averaging like 1,300 games a season. If we could play 1,300 games a season, I promise you, we'd do it in SSL. We've done it in SSL. So these systems, it does work. And again, the power of trailer is you drop the ball off to your teammate, you go for the demo. And so I'm a bit more of a fan of playing the ball low here off the back of the trailer, because what that does is, if I've passed this ball and Preceps were to shoot this low, it's impossible for them to dodge my attack. When the ball does get played high, it means I've got to chase this guy, which can be awkward. But still, even though that happens, still think about your defending here. So you'll see that even though that does happen, I'm just going to side flip them out of the net. You've got to be aggressive with your bumps and demos in these ranks. So actually really good defending there, I've got to be honest. Let's have a look at this from your perspective. Yep, good speed trying to get back. Here, this is where you'd flip like crazy. Flip, and then instantly land flip. And I think because you've boosted, 2 flips would get you supersonic. If you didn't know, guys, if you have a 0 boost and you did 3 front flips, you actually then hit supersonic, because the front flip offers you some propulsion. So yeah, I think if you front flipped, you may have got back quicker. And if you did get back quicker, you'd now be about here. You could possibly defend from behind and take that there. Okay, let's have a look at this. Again, follow up the kickoff. This is going to create an advantage, okay, for us here to be able to pick up that ball straight away. We get the mid boost off the kickoff, which is really the goal. Whoever controls the mid boost controls the game. And even though we butt heads, it shouldn't be too big of a deal because now the offensive player is low. And again, Preceps second man work. You'll see it here. Dips in behind the goal line, gets the vision, and then he can just attack head on. All right, just makes it real simple. Brilliant again. Second man position. Buffalumps really liking this. This is nice. Okay, so now we're too wide. And what this is going to start causing, these wide sort of plays, is it forces you to take challenges head on. Although this isn't a terrible challenge to take because you've read this well on the bounce. Yeah, you've read this well on the bounce. The issue you've got is it's first versus second. And people say, well, you're not really second man. But the problem is this guy's not strong at the moment. They've got low boost. So you don't really necessarily want to take all these 50s. However, I don't necessarily disagree with this one. I think you've read this really well. You know, Preceps has shown his hand there. One thing I would say, if you ever are going to challenge him, and by the way, guys, you could absolutely just shadow this again if you wanted to keep everything the same and repeatable. But otherwise, if you are going to challenge a board, if you can, jump and turn your car sideways and then flip. And that gives you an even bigger chance of winning because you've got a bigger hitbox. A bit aggressive going for this boost here. Second man generally wants to be a little bit more central. That's going to force you to back up and give some map space. Let's go back to this. The challenge comes in. And again, this is one of those things I love because this is that question. People say, wow, okay, that's really, really good. He just beat, a former top 100 ones player in a 50-50. But did he really? Because that 50-50 is now mine. So actually, although you could argue Buffalumps won the 50, our team actually won the 50. And that's why you need to look at it as team. Great idea going for the defending from behind. Don't disagree with this at all. Brilliant. Absolutely excellent. Fantastic. Really fantastic. I mean, that actually was amazing. So you can see the difference here. This ends in a goal. And it's purely because he is locking me into playing really fast. Brilliant. And he comes from this side. He does the side flip here. He forces the ball away from me without sending himself in the opposite direction. He's now still in defense, so that's brilliant. And here, I mean, this is actually the best play here from these guys. Second man, almost into net. Just push out a little bit early, and it's a great shot. But that just shows you the power of counterattacks. You know, we often say if you're stuff in the corner, you don't score. Counterattacks are where the majority of goals happen in all the ranks, even in pro level. Yeah, sometimes actually. I'd say it's pretty even in pro level because now people are getting so clinical on finishing, especially if you watch guys like Zen. He's so clinical, it's actually ridiculous. So, yeah, the one time here we saw a shift in the playstyle where they defended on the way back and then looked to counter by using their teammate, the extended teammate, aka the backboard. Literally just as we talked about, this ends in a goal. So do this more, guys. That was absolutely excellent. Okay, well played. Nice 50, not bad at all. Again, I do think you could jump a little bit higher on these Buffalumps. A little bit earlier, because I just get a bit above you, which keeps the ball low. Even though we lose it, we've got that ball nice and high, which means second man has a lot of belief in following. Although I've got to say, perfect follow here. Yeah, to be honest, perfect follow. That'll just come with experience. The more you do it, the more you'll start to see these things. Okay, don't dive on this. Yeah, you see, I didn't know you were going to dive because I don't remember the way this game was played at 100%. But I know so many people dive when they're wide. Because you're wide, you feel forced to dive. And because you're wide, wide is associated with shooting on net. Because if you think about it, let's say the ball, oh, I need to get unstuck. Let's say the ball's here. If I shoot here, I'm never shooting on net. But if I'm wide, that's me shooting on net. And so you've almost got like a Pavlovian response where as soon as you come wide, oh, I could score this. So we automatically dive. And again, you cannot dive and attack people who own the possession here. You can see now it causes a difficult situation. So Preceps does end up giving up that, like, the ball sort of falls away. And it's a great pickup by Buffalumps here. But again, we're forcing these balls away, and it doesn't really matter too much because we can defend this. So let's have a look at this. So yeah, don't dive on those. The fake would have worked much better. In fact, I just want to talk about fakes. People say the reason you should dive on a ball is because it'll force the opponent to make a play. I have never seen anyone not try and make a play on the ball. I've never seen anyone just stop the ball, right? They're always going to try and make a play. So a fake challenge is more than enough to make them make a play. Good recovery to get back here. Okay, so they've got the ball. Unfortunately, low on boost. So it's good. It's actually a great read the second there. Risky, though I have to say there is an inherent risk with this because the second man, we're pushing ourselves out. And this is why, by the way, Preceps dove on this, because if he gets any clip on that ball, we are scoring. Because first man always should challenge the second man in these sort of situations, because if they do touch it, we score, and if they don't, we should be okay. So it's good play here. Unfortunately, they're low on boost. And now my goal here is to match the height of the ball. Okay, similar how earlier I spoke about matching the height of the ball on the backboard. You look here, when this ball comes up, I'm watching the circle on the ground to see how far it is from him. So I knew he couldn't shoot the first shot. And then I'm going to go up. And now I'm matching the height of the ball. And then from there, I can touch it. If you are, like here, I can tell that he's low on boost just from the way he approaches that ball. So what you would normally do, if they were boosting, you'd actually front flip now. And that would create a pinch. And if you do it right, what I would do, you sort of see me trying to do it here. It doesn't work how I wanted it to because we don't get that exact 50. I'm actually opening this angle, which is generally considered extremely dangerous. Normally you'd open the angle here to force it to the corner. But because, again, this will come with time, I can see second man stacking. Okay, he's behind, so they're stacked in one area. I'm actually trying to open my car up to get it to this way because I can see Preceps is in the middle. So if I can win that 50 there, we've got an open net. It doesn't work like that. It was actually really good not to flip there. By not flipping, you can see how much more difficult it makes it. And here is a really good example of the difficulty of being around net. It's so hard to score this goal because it's actually impossible. It's impossible for the majority of the player base here, especially in the speed of it. If we were a little bit slower, possibly. But if you actually look at the moment of the attack, it's impossible to get this angle when he's actually touching it because it's stuck to the backboard, so it can't be moved. And so this is just an overcommit second. You have to moving up the ranks, especially to go from like GC2 to GC3 or GC1 to GC3, it's knowing when you can actually score. And if you can't score, like that first play that we did when we did the Pacifist pivot, I could have shot on net, but you would have blocked it. Okay, so if I say 328, so we just quickly go back here just to show you guys. We go back to this, right? So on this play here, I could have shot this on net, but you're going to save it, I would think, because you'll be able to read that. So I'm actually going to try and shoot it around you more so than to the net and work from there. So it's just a skill that you'll develop over time of like, actually, can I score this? And if not, can we move it somewhere else? Like here, could we have done something else? A fake would have worked well because I was in a bad spot there. Okay, so let's have a look at this. So what you want to do here, as the new first man, this is a really awkward situation, but the ball's going in the corner. And this is more advanced stuff, and it's something we're not covering yet here. But, well, in most of the things I've not really covered because it is extremely advanced. But once you get it, your team has possession the whole time, but it's defending from behind, okay? When you're looking at defending from behind, we're going to be covering it probably in about 6 weeks with Brandon and Chad in more depth because it is the premier way to defend. It's the ultimate way. If you think about defending like a pyramid, the bottom of the pyramid is diving. It doesn't really work. Well, not even pyramid because you don't want that. But the lowest level, okay, is diving. Doesn't work. The next level is an outside shadow, effective and kind of easy to learn. The next one up from that for twos, in my opinion, is the inside shadow because it funnels them as well into lower percentage positions. And then after that, the number one spot, you have defending from behind. Defending from behind means that you're constantly taking the ball when they're in bad positions. And the most common position to take this from is the corner. Because when the ball goes into the corner, if you're the first man on the opposing team, this player is going to need a couple of touches. They're going to usually grab the boost, and they're not going to have any vision. So they often panic and throw the ball away, which is fine for second man. But what I would do here is usually they try and control it. So I actually come here. See that control he does? Everyone does. And this is where I would jump up and shoot the ball back myself, defending from behind. Once you understand that, holy hell. I mean, I don't teach that to people, usually, like below GC. But I'm actually starting with Brandon and Chad. We're gonna go through that. I think they're going to hit champ really soon, possibly get it mid to high champ, and then they're going to be incorporating this. I think that's going to be the final push to grand champ for them as far as big things added. So again, Preceps owns the ball here, and Freestyler does a drive challenge. It's not bad, but a drive challenge is still a challenge, and it does allow a little bit of pressure here. It's a good save to the corner, but it's cost them boost that they didn't need to use, which means Preceps can soak up the boost. And again, you look at this from Preceps' perspective, we're going to soak up the boost, and he sees the challenge coming in. He doesn't even need the challenge. He actually turns away to let them hit the ball away. This is so key. Shooting the ball, and this is what, you know, I get my hair off with when I'm doing my series. Shooting the ball forward is giving away possession unless it's a good shot or a high ball. Okay? This is the stuff you want. You want to force someone to just shoot the ball away. This is the number one thing. If players just stop doing, they would be so much better. So what could you do instead? Okay, well, good save. Okay. And then come down here. Wave dash. Where are we? Wave dash. Just get close. Just get close. And just jump if you think he's going to do it, but don't dive into it. Just get close. That ball now isn't flying away. You could grab some of those pads, use the ball as a weapon to grab pads, and you're fine. But again, we've managed to force this funnel. And this stuff's important as well, guys. Another one of my sort of pet peeves. Everyone can see where the opponent is trying to attack us from, and they'll just smash the ball back. Honestly, in NA, in Champ 1, well, every rank I've played in NA, pretty much, they just, I've never seen anything like it. They do it in EU, but not to the extent in NA, guys. So, just shooting that ball away to the side the players are on is a big no-no. So, fake it, take the ball into the space. And also notice that, as I said before, because I'm on an inside position, my car doesn't have a ton of momentum moving into this board. So when you do fend from the inside, it usually goes to the backboard. If I was on the outside here, just so you can be aware of it, if I was here and I took this to the backboard, what often people do, I mean, you could absolutely soft touch it, but most people don't. You know, they've got this natural innate thing to just flip. So boom, you flip, and now that ball's going to roll up here and away. And that's where the second man gets you guys a lot of the time. So let's have a look at the follow here. Good, excellent. Okay, so this, right, I can show you the advanced version just so you're aware. So what I do here, if I was with 24 Freestyler, is once I see this guy putting the ball in the corner, he's going to need a couple of touches here. So I'm going to call him to rotate. This is where you have an organic rotation. Rotate. I'm going to come in supersonic, and I'm going to sneak here behind him. And I'm supersonic, right? As soon as he gets this first touch, I take the ball back. Again, we own possession. When you see this done at a high level, honestly, it is poetry. You just constantly take the ball off the opponent and attack, right? So, again, one of these things, we're wide here as second man, and it's going to force us to go. I can understand this because you don't really left in the 2v1, but with this hit, we've forced that ball away from us, and there it is. We've now trapped ourselves behind the play because we're trying to attack the ball, and unfortunately, it's put it to the corner. What you could do here, okay, let's say you take that 50, I'd be here, wait, try and own the ball, try and get close. Brilliant. That's the best thing. Well played. Excellent there, Buffalumps. So I love this, again, defending from behind here. This is a really good adaptation, and you've played the ball beautifully for a pivot. And if 24 Freestyler was a bit more central, absolutely, you'd have a perfect pivot to get it. You'd score this. They're brilliant play. Absolutely brilliant. Nice. Okay, this is better because it's not rushed. Nice. Well, that's much better because it's not rushed. We haven't dodged into anything. We're looking for wraparound demos. Excellent work. And you get the boost out the back of it. And then you just got too aggressive. Absolutely. This was excellent. Absolutely excellent. Now you've got to ask yourself, where's that ball wanting to go? It wants to move away. Well, then let's move away with it. Keep our percentages high. This is where you would have done a pivot. Okay? So you're here. You grab the boost. Don't touch the ball. Let the guy hit it. And then shoot it into the middle for your teammate again. They were central. Beautiful. Good demo. Always risky. Always risky this is because it's a blind touch. We've touched the ball upwards into the middle. And I can see an opening. So I'm going to try and take that. And I know I can take it safely because it's such a big opening. I wonder if I want to defend from behind here. Oh, I am. Yep. Oh, there you go. So So my plan often is to defend from behind. And again, like I often say, once you understand the game and you get these fundamentals, you can start to really experiment. You know, most people I just tell to shadow there, absolutely. But I know I can hit this. I can do sort of a delayed dodge thing so I can land on my wheels. Again, it's not an advanced mechanic. It's a fundamental mechanic. And then from here, I'm looking. I've only got one boost, but I'm looking and hoping that if 24 Freestyler takes control here, I'm going to shoot this back to my corner. He goes quick, which is fine. I'm back on the boost. I could absolutely go into this as the first man and do a hover, which I think I'll do something similar later, but it's going to go to Preceps. So what can you do here as 24 Freestyle is take your time. Take your time. Not everything needs to be, you know, necessarily a highlight play. But actually, I know, I ignore me. You have got an overcommit from me there. Don't take your time. It's just like, maybe you are taking time because you're going for like a lot of these aerials and stuff. Personally, maybe just try and smack that. Just get that ball moving, make Preceps defend. But no, I don't think you made the wrong decision, but this is definitely the wrong decision. Once you get this miss hit here, that's it, it's gone, it's gone, it's gone. The only thing you could do here is jump off and speed flip to try and minimize the gap, but it's gone. Don't waste any more boost. Just get to the floor. Get to the floor and look to defend from here with like 30 boost. Okay, don't overdo it. Okay, so because of that, that's a giveaway of possession. So you could, you know, okay, fair enough. It was a good idea. But now don't attack us. We own the ball. And this is going to cause, boom, bad times here. So what's happened is you guys have put yourselves into low boost situations again. If you look at our team as a whole, look, I'm on 100 boost because I'm just chilling. And I should be as second man. I should always be pretty much on 100 boost. You can see me grabbing the pads. And now, you know, as a team, we're in a much stronger position. And when now you have the ball, okay, you've done a great job of taking the ball. But Preceps might defend from behind here. Yeah, he's going to do it. Excellent. So, obviously, I expect nothing less from Preceps. So if you look here, you've caught the ball in the corner. We know it's going to take you a few seconds. Even a good player, even like an SSL. When I say good, I mean like an SSL. It can take them a few seconds or touches to get this. So that's where you do defending from behind, as you can see there. We just take the possession away from you. We know where you're trying to attack. We're going to attack there as well. But we're going to attack to the areas that we feel safer. Think of it like a bar fight. You know your mate's in a bar fight. He's about to get punched in the face by a really big bloke. All of a sudden, pretend you don't even like the guy, and you're a small guy, punch him in the face, and just drop him yourself. Because now, he's only been hit by a smaller guy, it's not going to do damage, versus the big guy who might have put like a hole in his head. You see what I'm saying? So it's the same thing. We know it's going to be bad times. Let's make it bad times on our watch, or whatever you want to say, and then it's going to be good times. So good. Okay, free ball. We're going to try the jab off the wall and look for an aerial play. Okay, because I know, just because I know they're low on boost, doesn't happen, not a problem. We take it again. So we're just going to own the ball for a bit. And now again, I actually tried to do a front flip there. I actually remember this bit. So this was meant to be a tail whip flick, but for some reason the flick just didn't have a double jump. But again, you can see how powerful this would be. So let's have a look at this. Great fake, just a little bit too wide. And then a little bit too close again, thinking more about attacking. Whereas what you'd want to do, turn face this way. So I'm facing this way, but I'm here. And I'm starting to move slowly. And now, when I know for sure where that ball's going, I jump back and turn and flip into it. And then what's going to happen here from this second man is that. Remember before, I mentioned about like how this is one of the reasons people get scored on. So what will often happen in standard Rocket League is we'll see this, and the second man, you'll have it all the time, will already be following here, and they'll go up the wall and they'll just dunk this to net. You guys must have had this happen. Everyone's had this happen. Every replay I look at, this happens. Every series I do, this happens, which is why waiting in net works so well, because they just pass me the ball, I get a freebie. But what it is it's basically, if you look at standard Rocket League in a nutshell, that's probably the #1 way goals are scored, which is why people think that you need to be fast and pressure. But actually, it's just because people are being careless and not holding the possession. And then here, we've got a double layer of defense. So, brilliant. First touch it. So we try to get the flick, don't get it. Okay, grab the boost. And then here, I'm trying to defend from behind. I can't. Play the ball into the middle. Might be a bit mechanical. So just do like a speed flip here to try and like demo him in the air. If he plays that higher, because he's played basic, I'm going up here, right? If he plays it slower and gets flip resets, I should be able to come from behind and smash it to the other corner. But because he's going so fast, I'm trying to catch him up and just demo him here, because I know it's no threat now. But I thought if I could just demo him, we'd just get a bit of extra time or a bump. So we get the bump or the pin. And I know once I see this, I know it's going into the ground. So I know Preceps is going to get the free ball. But again, if you watch it from Precep's perspective, nice and central, kicking out to create an angle, he's just going to take that ball. He's going to have that space. Good stuff here from Buffalumps. Really nice. Again, nice central position here. Moving in. Excellent side flip. Personally, I would just... I don't really disagree with this. All I would say is, because when you're so close to the wall here, try and just do a jump if you can. And if you are going to side flip, turn the car to face that way and side flip. Because you're like this, it's going to hit it and stabilize it. And you'll see that, guys, if you want to know more about that. Episode 1 of the Chad and Brandon series, taking the two 40-year-old PhD players to SSL. No, not SSL. Grand Champ. So here, I did the same mistake. Oh, so if you look at this here, I'm in a bad spot. Now, what I should have done here, realistically, is turn and then side flipped it there. But I panicked. Again, see, even though I play this system a lot, I panic. And look, this is why you don't do those 50s. So don't do what I've done there with that side flip, because it will give the ball back to the opponent and it will get the demo. One of the reasons I did take this is because there was that sort of attack coming on. And I didn't know Preceps was going to get back. But I should have definitely turned the car or even gone for a fake. Let's have a look at this. Okay, nice pickup. Bit heavy, but that'll come with time. Nice bumps, well played. Don't rotate. Yes, beautiful. That was nice, really nice. Good bump here. Great job not rotating. Good boost grab. That side flip, although not ideal in a way, it actually is genius, because that's one of the few times you recommend it, because we know we're going to get the boost. We know Precepts now lower on boost, but again, look how quickly he's back up to 60 without getting a big pad. Something to consider. And again, so although this was great, it did give us the boost. It's why playing that ball back into space is so powerful. Let's have a look at this. I understand this, but do you think I'm not aware you're going to try and put this on net? All right, I know you're going to put this on net, right? So when you're second man here, what you want to do, again, don't play for the goal here. Don't play for the goal. You're never going to score this, because that ball is never going to get enough power to be on net or high. You know, you really want to make sure it's a good finish. So here instead, what I would do is I would turn my car and just try and play it into the corner, which I know goes against everything I said, but now I could take this ball over. I could take it back. I have more options. As soon as you choose to shoot, it needs to be the finish, because if it's not, the opponent gets the ball. And it's a heavy touch from me. There's a lot of heavy touches back and forth here. Not good for myself here. Definitely should have done a fake touch. I didn't even need to flip there. Bad vision. Okay. So you played that really well. You've absolutely outsmarted me there. Again, didn't necessarily need to flip here. Okay, let's look at this. Nice jab. Well played. Yeah, so again, you'll notice I go for a lot of bumps and demos. Often what I'm trying to do, my whole game plan in like a micro level, is to try and force the opponent to hit the balls that are nice to my teammate whilst trying to like take them out of the play. So I do a lot of that and just give up free balls. Ball comes to me, so I might as well stay on it there. And again, we've got this sort of dive culture coming in. We're in a good position boost-wise. We don't need to dive here. A fake would have been great, because now I can sort of aim that 50 into space. And I know, based on what's happened so far in the game, that your teammate is going to be on the same side, whereas Preceps is going to be central. So anywhere other than that side is going to be our ball, which it is. And so now it's a 2v1. Good speed getting in. Nice job turning away there. The getting in is a bit too close here. So coming into about here, like now you can see he's going to hit it. So I'd probably kick out a little bit more central personally, and then I would have turned here like that. So you're now already turned, and then you can just hover up and touch that to the corner. In all honesty, I feel that this was kind of fortunate, because I genuinely thought, I know there was a little lag here. I felt like I demoed you. but I could be wrong. So again, you don't necessarily want to rely on this. I know you got me, fair enough. But personally, I would think more about blocking, because faking to go to the corner isn't what you want to do, because again, you're going to, like here, that fake needs to be, the fake needs to be for a shadow save. And once you go to the boost, you can see here, it almost a goal there. Okay, good front end aggression. Okay, so we've got two, beautiful switch there. No, make sure we, okay, not sure what the comms are here. Too aggressive. So, not sure what the comms are here. But it was a great looking switch I thought was coming in here. So, look, the right idea here is to switch here. My Buffalumps are really good. Come into the middle. Grab. This is very aggressive for a demo that's not going to happen as well. Just be aware of this. Okay, so Preceps is taking the ball back. You've took the boost, which is great. But Preceps still owns the ball here. Now, this is why I love waiting in deep net, because I can just side flip my way to safety. And we're fine. And I just love it. So just make sure here, like, there's no point going for demos if the other team still owns the ball, because they can just take that 50 and nothing's being gained there. So instead, what you could have done, like, 'cause you're in such a strong position here. Yeah, the boost grab's smart, and then just break. Own the ball. Break. Stay here. He's gonna panic. You've got way more boost than this guy. And then what I would do personally, you know, your teammate probably wouldn't be as close if you didn't do that, is I'd defend from behind, shoot it into the middle. Teammates there. Pacifist pivot. That's the goal. I don't blame this 50. To be honest, from second man, you're so close that you've kind of got to. This is a bit aggressive though. This is similar to earlier. We're smashing that ball away into the corner. I like that you didn't dodge though. That's really good. Have a look at this. I'm just trying to. There we go. So there are some advanced things you can do here. If you guys are like a really well-oiled machine and you've got good comms, what you can actually do is drive forward here. This is a bit next level. And because, like, you know he's low on boost, drive forward and double jump this ball. So it actually hits the top of your car. It like brushes and goes backwards, and then your teammate gets a free ball. But it requires like a complete understanding that second man has to be central. Again, this is why I love second man being central, is you can think of so many creative ways to drop the ball off in a central position. You know, think of it like you're Steve Nash in the NBA, or, you know, White Chocolate. You know, you're just dropping that ball into weird positions so your teammate Andre Stoudemire just gets a free dunk kind of thing. You could just drop that off. Imagine that drops off. Second man comes in, and they're off. So a little bit aggressive, but good idea. I mean, it took us off guard, I think, because I was pushed up there. Didn't expect that myself. And I've got to take that because it's dangerous in the middle to take it. And you guys are in a good position here. Yeah, well played. Good position here. Well played. Yep. Shame about the choice to go for the shot here. I think not jumping would have been the way to go. Or jump just like right here, just to try and put it out high and look for a demo. Try and play the long game when you're looking for finishes if you can. And everyone should do this in like champ. Don't just try and get the quick finishes. Try and get longer finishes. Like, wear them out, boost starve them, get a high percentage look. Brilliant from Pre. I mean, this is great play. Of course it is. You know, really smart play, nice and high. He's not. So we're in what's known as defensive offense. We're in our defense trying to get onto offense. This is where people push the ball and get dunked. Preceps actually takes a 50 because freestyle is close, and there's no point pushing it because it will get dunked. So gets the overcommit there, and then a second man here. I can now move into this and look for a 50. The reason I look for that 50 is because I'm first versus last. If I get any connection, we're instantly scoring. If I don't, it does not matter because it goes back to your second man. That's why that's so good. Okay, so let's have a look at this right here. So yeah, good spot there. Buffalumps, really good spot. This is too aggressive though. That's never going in. It's played to our teammate, which is the backboard. Yeah, try not to go for that. I think my controller's playing up because it keeps doing that thing. So yeah, just be aware of that. We've got a pick up here. Nice. Okay, not a bad idea. I sort of see what you're trying to achieve. This is one of the things of... So many people do this. The ball comes to the corner and second man will hit it here. Fake this. Fake this. He thinks you're going to hit it. Look, he'll turn before you hit it. You see that? So go in like you remember, show them the first half they expect, give them a second half they don't. Go in like you're going to hit it, turn away. Now you've got a free ball, take the middle, set something up, man. I know it sounds hard, and people will say, yeah, but you need really good mechanics. If you practice it, you will get them. If you never practice it, you'll never get them. But just get used to doing those mechanics, and you will get better, okay? Because, yeah, you see how it's easy to block off. Okay, so good. Again, good central positioning here. Buffalumps, really nice. Good bump there from Preceps. Now, here, there's no point me controlling this ball. I could control this ball, and this is where I think a lot of people get caught out in the Pacifist System when they're trying to incorporate themselves. If I control this ball, it's very bobbly. It's going to be hard for me to control. By the time I actually get it under control, I'm probably going to get challenged, and it's going to be difficult for me because I'm going to be trying to control it. If I leave this, it's going to go to the corner. Again, difficult to control. They can come for demos. If this is a dead ball, absolutely, I'd slow play this and move it into space. But because it's not, I'll just go for something high just to try and make them look up. So this is great camera work there, freestyler. So you can see good camera work because they're not looking up at the ball, which means they're not blinded by the ball. Great positioning from Buffalumps here because, again, they're not under the ball, so they're not blinded by it. But usually that'll work against the average Grand Champ. So my thing is here again, wrap around demo. People say, why can you go for a demo when, Freestyler couldn't earlier? Because their team doesn't actually own the ball. If I get this demo, it's a guaranteed goal because there's no one around on their team. And again, it's first versus last. Always worth going for. Don't get it, which is a shame. But we end up with this ball. And again, I want you guys to look at, when we do these plays, okay, I've just gone for a demo. Look at our boost levels. You notice we always have high boost levels. And people will say, oh, that's only because you're a higher rank playing against the players who are a low rank. But if you look at that, don't just sort of be blinded by that. Look at how are we managing our boost? Are we going all in for plays we can't do? Are we doing a lot of aerials that we can't, that are low percentage? And don't get me wrong, we do use aerials. But we do more so aerial 50s or aerial bumps or aerial low fakes. It's not like triple flip resets and stuff like that. It's a good hit there. Good movement in. Good read again. This is one of those things I don't blame. 30 seconds left, trying to be aggressive. It makes perfect sense here. What's this? It's generally not advised to do this sort of stuff, having two players in the same place. Buffalumps on the ball here. And then to have the second man come in, it would be good, but we've already set our defense up. So again, can you shoot this top corner from here? If you can, fair enough. If you can't, that's fine. Because right now you're doing what the average player does, which is shoot from anywhere. Okay, shoot from anywhere syndrome. That means it's not repeatable. Because next time you go to shoot from anywhere, the ball could be here. Next time it could be here. Next time it could be here. But if you went for possession, took the ball back, went back to the corner, boom, that's repeatable. Lateral dribble, the same one you use every time. Same bounce dribble, the exact same flick. That's repeatable from the same spot. That's repeatable because you own the ball. When you're doing this shoot stuff, your percentages are really low because it's not repeatable. Actually, of course, over time, you will get better doing all of those basics and you'll be able to take them away. But just keep that in mind. We can read that that's not going to be successful. So again, so this is actually a really good example. So soft touch. There's a soft movement, the exact same angles I'm used to attacking, so I know exactly how this is going to look. So here, I'll fade away the 50 and then get the goal. As a second man here, it's tough. I understand you're going for this, to be honest. Makes perfect sense. If you front flip, you're probably scoring in all fairness. But it's the reason this fake works so well, not to get too nerdy, is because you're turning your car. So, this is nerdy. So because you're here and you've turned your car into me here, most players are, sort of chilled out on the joystick. So because you're turning left, or right, I should say, sorry, when you jump, you're naturally going to keep holding right and do a side flip. So if you turn and then didn't turn no more and did a front flip or a left side flip, which is a bit more difficult on the joystick and again, a bit more mechanical, you'd actually probably have a much more successful 50 than that. So again here, doesn't really matter. I can take a 50 here because of this overcommit again, it's first versus last straight away. And you can see Preceps pushing that wall up as fast as he can here. And I think he knows at this point we're safe, so he'll let you come through. And then, yeah, we get that goal. Nice kickoff. Good follow there. Good follow, Buffalumps, as well. Yeah, this is good. Nice. Perfect positioning. Perfect positioning. Yeah, almost ends in the goal. Yeah, well played. Really good. Yeah, really, really good. This is always, I'm not a massive fan of these because it does force the players to go up for aerials, but again, you've got great vision. Nice try, in all honesty. I think if you hit it how you wanted, you're scoring that. And again, you can see, had this have had an extra second, that is a goal. But again, you probably overcommitted because it was, need for a goal. But the big thing here, guys, really good positioning. Actually, really like the position. It's just the decision making and the challenging that is going to be a hard thing to drop. If you can drop that, slow it down a little bit, not be so aggressive, you're going to do well. Guys, I hope this helps everyone, and I just want to say a massive thank you again on the book. Still cannot believe it. But yeah, look after yourself and peace out. Peace.